Hi everyone, and welcome to our video on the Capricorn full moon. Jim Delacolli and I, Emmeline Muldoon, are here today to talk to you about the energies from this supermoon full moon. This full moon, which falls on the 13th of July at 2:37 p.m. Eastern Time, is the closest moon to the Earth for the year. So this is a very intense moon because the moon is closer to us than it will be at any other time. So full moons are usually intense anyway, because it can bring up emotions and releasing and endings, but this is going to be, so to speak, one of the most intense ones for the year because it's closest to the Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're dealing in the opposite, the moon's in the opposite sign of what it rules, Cancer, and they're both cardinal signs. So a lot of action here, a lot of maybe emotion that we're dealing with. But trust me, we're on a point here with this full moon where the night has been lit up by the moon, so we can see some of the hidden. And so we're on the precipice here of fixing a lot of things. So don't get pulled too far in either direction. No, you got this, and let's deal with what's in front of us and know that you have everything you need to move forward.
Yeah. So if we should pull up the chart and then have a look at some of the aspects and see what's going on with this.
Okay.
Full moon is in Capricorn. So that's opposite the Cancer. The sun is in Cancer. So the sun is very much in a sign of the home, the family, emotions, comfort. And the moon's right there opposite in Capricorn. So Capricorn is more institutions, the tradition, the governments, the hierarchy, anything that sort of has a ladder that you climb up is kind of the Capricorn energy in my mind.
Yeah, I'll throw in, power, because it's the final earth sign. So it's like, let me show you what I know based on what I've done. So Capricorn's where I think we try to gain power or gain control. If we are seeking all of what we've looked after for, power's sake. So you want to be careful here because we also will undo this power. And that's what Pluto being here since 2008 has really shown us all in these last 14 years, what we've dealt with, where we've done wrong, and maybe where we can fix and do way better.
Yeah, because as we all know, sort of Pluto's been hanging out right there at the end of Capricorn. So if you look in your charts where you get to the last couple of degrees of Capricorn, you're going to be seeing, that's where there's been a lot of change and transformation over the last couple of years, to put it mildly. And now we have this full moon that's sort of pulling in on that Pluto.
Yes. Yep.
It's right down there at the bottom together, hanging out.
All right here.
So I always think when I see the moon and Pluto together, I always think of intense emotions.
Yes.
So it really brings out the intensity of the moon, which is all about your inner feelings and the emotions that you have. So if you look at this opportunity here, because what Pluto does is it does make things intense, but then it also opens things up and then makes way for healing. So in a way, having these two come together at this full moon is an opportunity for some profound healing, to open up the emotions, bring things to light. Maybe it might feel raw and upsetting and intense at the time, but then it's going to make way to open up for some healing. And that's what I always like. It's going deep down into your emotions. To figure out maybe what you've been working with over the last couple of years, because like I said, Capricorn's been hanging out at the end there of Capricorn, ready to move into Aquarius next year. So it's finishing up since 2008, all the changes it's made to that part of your chart.
Yeah, and think about the moon and Pluto both are planets that rule water signs. So the moon's the fastest of the moving planets, and Pluto's the slowest. So you're dealing with things that you've tripped up maybe, or emotionally every 2 to 3 days as the moon changes a sign, and that's now full, totally illuminating with Pluto, which is the slowest, and it takes 248 years to go through the zodiac. So you're dealing with things that you've dealt with that have really hindered you, maybe, or really you've really addressed and dealt with over the long haul, more than just one lifetime. So know that, you know, we're dealing with that quick emotional change, and then every 2 or 3 days, and then that one that's really deep seated. So all this is illuminated. So you'll find yourself dealing with a lot. We're not going to minimize that, but we're also, the opportunity is to like become, get way closer to the middle and become, from an emotional state, way more, I'm going to say powerful. I hate to use that, but way more stable, and then where you're wise. And that's really what this is about, getting better and becoming wiser. And this is really going to help you here. So just know that as we're dealing with it.
Yes, and also if you look at that opposition there, we have obviously the moon is hanging out there with Pluto next to it. The sun has Mercury next to it. So we're pulling in on, you know, the mind, gathering information. What did we hear? What did we learn that maybe triggers these emotional changes and healing?
Yes. So a lot of aha moments here. And don't be afraid if the ego's too much in the way. You'll see where you find yourself continuing to stand up or stand for something that is not you anymore. You become wiser, and you're seeing it from a perspective that you've never seen it. That's the opportunity here. So prepare yourself for that, and don't fight it. Just continue doing your research and get wiser here. This is the wisening of the planet, of the human race. And I want you to lead that, like Emmeline and I are trying to do. We want to be ahead of it, not, you know, continue to battle for things that we no longer are in line with.
And this full moon is also bringing in, because you know, full moon is opposition, but it's bringing in a T-square because they're both squaring Chiron. So
Yes.
if we think about all that we've just said about the emotions, the information, the transforming, you know, Chiron is the wounded healer. You know, sometimes you open up a wound to then heal. So it's really squaring that, bringing in that tension. So, you know, the moon being close to the earth, Pluto being there, squaring the Chiron is definitely an emotional time. So just bear that in mind with the people that you're around, and with yourself. Give yourself that time, because the healing that can come with Chiron and Pluto is really, truly magnificent.
And I do always want to remind people, the moon changes sign every 2.5 to 3 days. So count to 3, please. Something comes up. If you can, I don't want you to put it off, but if you can delay how you respond for 3 days, I think you'll like the clarity that comes over those 3 days. And so you're not going to be able to do that with everything, but if you can just count to 3, take a deep breath, throw some patience in there, you'll like what you find and then how you deal with it.
Yeah, that's true actually as well, because of Jupiter is in Aries. So there's sometimes a little bit of impatience that can come along, or the individual maybe wanting to speed ahead and just act, because Jupiter makes everything bigger and it makes that Aries energy bigger. So I just want to get it done. I just want to react. Well, you know, sometimes if you react too quick, Jupiter's great, but when you get too much, it can sometimes be excess. So yeah, maybe think a bit before you react.
Yes. And then this is the Aries likes to change, right? It's the first of all the signs. It's the beginning of spring, but it's the first fire sign. So know that there's some warring aspects, and the control, maybe who had control or what was in control, is being revealed. And so they're going to try to keep control, right? And keep power. So no, we're going to see that process kind of unfold, I guess is how I'll do that. So the control is going to come from the few and be transitioned to to the masses. So know that the opportunity is here. We're the masses, so do your own part. So get after this and just keep getting better and becoming wiser. That's the key we're going to have to deal with here.
Yes. Another aspect that I think is definitely at play here in the chart, because you can see we've got the North Node hanging out here in the 7th house. It's within 2 degrees of Uranus. Mars is not far behind it. Mars is now in Taurus in this chart, so we're building up to a triple conjunction, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But they're going to actually come together at the end of July and the beginning of August. So what this is saying, I think, when you get the Mars Uranus come together, is freedom, fighting for your freedom, fighting for your truth. What do you believe in? There is that sense of, you know, that I want to act. Mars is like, I want to do this, I want to get it, I want to find it. And Uranus is also quite speedy, so it's a quick action that's coming up to look into you and your freedom and what's important to you. So you might feel like that's coming, energies come into your life, that you're looking at what's important and what freedom means to you, what's been holding you back, is you're moving to move that away. You're thinking about moving that away now and not having any restrictions there anymore, because once Mars does get there, then that's going to start the changes, because Mars likes to change and initiate, take action, like we said. You're going to start feeling that you're taking action to remove what's been, you know, holding you back and fighting for what you want. And because the North Node is there, it's looking at what's important for our future, for our life's path, for where we're going as a collective. So, you know, it's good to think about what your contribution is to, you know, where you're going, and also to the planet. Taurus is the Earth. What do we do for society? How do we help the Earth? What's the role here?
Yeah, Taurus is where we like lay that groundwork in the plan. So yeah, that you're absolutely on the money there. Know that we're putting a plan together here, and this can be a long-term plan that's good for us all. So if you fight for this, Taurus is a fixed sign. If you really feel this and you're using all your faculties, fight for this. This is good, right? So this is a huge opportunity here, and this is for a super long term, as Pluto's the 248-year cycle. So let's make this better for potentially 250 years. And that's the key. That's why we're all here. This is our time.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because we are actually in July, and that is the second pass of the Pluto return for the United States. So the first one was the 22nd of February. We're at the 11th of July is the second pass. So actually it's quite close to this full moon being on the 13th, and then we'll get the final pass in December. So the second pass is sort of where we take the action, where we see what, you know, the first one is we get a glimpse of what's coming, of what changes are coming up, and then the second pass here in July is where we see what we need to do, where we need to.
One thing I would add, I didn't talk about the Pluto opposing the Sun and Mercury is this is where the powerful and the extreme, maybe that's been in charge, is going to get revealed. We have huge change, and know that this is our time to really just to look deep from within and figure out and move forward. So this is a huge time. And it's all, as Emmeline said, it's the Pluto return for the country. So we were formed under this transit. So know that we can transition as a country as well. So it's not all bad, but there's some things we don't need to be changed, and that's what we're working on. So get ready.
Yeah, and Sun Pluto, when they're in aspect, I always think that is, you know, for a person, someone who, when it's in their chart, someone who has that ability to be able to inspire or bring about change.
Correct. Yep.
When you see this with it, you know, within the full moon, it's that this is looking again for change.
Yes.
See what you're inspired by. See what talks to you.
Yes.
Because that might be important as well at this full moon.
And then I have some trines, which are two planets that are in signs that they're doing that will work well together. And it's Saturn is trine Venus, and then Uranus trine the moon. And Saturn trine Venus is where work done can bring prosperity. So know that if you work and do the work now, that prosperity can be had. From your perspective, this is through knowledge, through communication, whether you're learning or teaching, know that's the aspect we can do there. So do your part as far as trying to figure things out and get to a better place. And then Uranus and the moon, Uranus is the truth, the moon's your past. So you may find you're gifted, or you have knowledge, or you have more instincts that you thought, and use those to catapult yourself moving forward. So this is a huge opportunity for you to take these two and do some work, and be original here. Be who you are, what you are, and don't be afraid. You might really change course here, and it might be a very positive thing, or you might knock the limitations off, so to speak, to help you just become more who you are and get to the place where you truly deserve to be.
Yeah, because trines are where where it flows and where the energy is easy to work with. So as well, I think Saturn trining Venus, it can bring financial growth that you work on, but I also think it can bring you what you love.
Yes,
this is what you love, or what's beautiful. So what you're working on can bring you more of what you love.
yes, yep. I just want to throw some out here. You notice Emily and I are a little melancholy. We're dealing with a lot, and we know you are. So don't take this other than, hey, we're just trying to get through and learn and do the best we can. And we know you're doing that. We know the world's doing that. And so really, we're at that preface here. Yeah, the storm is here. It's upon us, but we're on the edge of that true change that's going to matter over long periods of time. So we're not immune from it. So I want you to know that, but don't give up here. This is a chance we really need to push forward, because we're on that preface of, it seems super chaotic and everything doesn't make sense, but we're going to make sense of all this. And so because we're on the edge, we're there. We were meant for this. So know that, and know that her and I and as well as the rest of you, we're not immune from anything. So we know there's a lot going on, but we want you to know that what's going on, and we want you to know that we're fighting through, and we will come through the other side, and we need you with us. So.
Yeah, it's definitely an intense time. The readings I'm doing at the moment with my clients, they're feeling this energy as well. There's a lot of emotional overwhelm. So, obviously, I think one of the things when I do a reading with someone that I always remind them is that when you have transits, they are temporary. This energy is not going to be crazy emotional forever. We're gonna make our way through it. So just, I think if you just bear that in mind when you go through maybe the next couple of months, and you might feel like it's emotional and you're finding out your truth and where we're going, we're getting to the good. So just sort of sit back and don't let yourself get too involved with a lot of the craziness. Sometimes sit back and just think about what's going on, and know that it won't last forever. It's just a bit of an emotional time this summer and this autumn.
Yeah, and my motto right now is let's get better, and let's become wiser. And so apply that. Sometimes you have to sit back and oversee it. Sometimes you have to apply yourself, but you are getting wiser. You're getting better. You're revealing. So know that, and stop and give yourself a little credit here, and then use that wiseness and just get better. That's what we need you to do, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're all, like you said, we're all meant to be here.
Yes.
Time. And when a country is having a Pluto return, like America actually is, and if you're living in America, then you're going to be feeling that Pluto return, just because it's in the country that you're in. So it's going to be there, and Pluto changes you for the good. There's a lot that comes out of Pluto. People get quite fearful of that planet, but it's changing you to show you what needs to go and what needs to break through.
Yes.
So if you think back to the last Pluto return, what happened with the Independence Day, America was born. So when Pluto, not Pluto returned, when Pluto was here last time. So, you know, it brings you some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and you and I both know Pluto makes you deal with the things you probably fear the most or don't want to face the most, but once it transits and gets through at the end, and you've shown that you're going to do your part and you are going to become wiser. This is the development of the soul. That's what Pluto rules. It drops you a gift, and we're close to that gift opportunity. You know, you and I talk about that all the time, and so Pluto does drop a gift to you if you do your part. That's why we're so adamant about this. And you and I know the gifts are life-changing, life-altering, and they are unbelievable. So Pluto is the most powerful planet, I feel. So the most powerful opportunity for the gifts are here, but you've got to do your part.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good that can come at the end of the rainbow, I suppose.
Yes.
Looking at it. Yeah. So so stay strong, stay detached. Don't let yourself get too emotional. Just, you know, we're here for a purpose. What's your purpose?
Correct. Good job. That's all I have to say. Good luck to y'all. Just do your part.
Yeah. Work on you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Stay strong.
Thank you all for viewing. We appreciate that. Please share. This is some good information, and we're not the only ones with this, but we need to share amongst each other. So the more you share, the more views we can get out there, I think the better we'll all be. And comment, please. I'd love to hear your comments and love to know where you are, what you're dealing with. So we have no problem with the comments in the section, and we will both get back to you.
Yeah, we will.
Yep.
And until next time, we'll be back again for the new moon. Yep. In a couple of weeks.
Yes, thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck.
Bye.